Hello students, and welcome to your last assignment for the Week 1 folder. This assignment is titled Week 1 Discussion, Replicating and Peer Review. This is the larger assignment and it will take you a little bit longer to do for the Week 1 folder. In order to access your Week 1 discussion, you'll need to click on the Week 1 Discussion, Replicating and Peer Review. And that will bring you into the thread overview page. Now this one, we will click on the Week 1 Discussion, Replicating and Peer Review blue link in order to access our instructions. So just a little different from the last one. This assignment has two parts to it, and it's going to take a little bit more time, so you can definitely break these parts up over days if you want to, or take a break in between part 1 and part 2. For part 1, we need to have our monster that we drew for the Week 1 discussion on specifics. So make sure you have your monster that you created available to you. And what you're going to do is look at your monster and you're going to write out a procedure on how to draw your exact monster. Your procedure should have specific steps so that if another student wanted to draw your monster and follow your steps, they could follow those steps and make an identical or almost identical monster to what you drew previously. So that's the kind of level of specific steps that I'm looking for. So again, as you write your procedure, you want to have specific steps that people can follow to draw your identical monster that you have. And you can either handwrite your procedure or you can type it as a Word document. It's entirely up to you. You will need to reply to this thread to submit your procedure. In order to do that, you will need either a saved scan file, a saved picture file if you did a handwritten instructions page, or your saved Word document. And you'll need to scroll down and find the blue reply button. That blue reply button is going to give you a submission text box, as well as a Browse My Computer option. If you are submitting a file, you can click on this Browse My Computer button and attach your file. Otherwise, you can also put in your procedure in the submission text. It's entirely up to you. But the file option for both pictures and Word documents would use the Browse My Computer option right here. When you're ready, you would click Submit. That would submit your reply below my thread. And that's going to be where part 1 is done. So once you're done with that part, if you wanted to take a break, you could, or you could keep moving forward and you would do part 2. So part 2 is where you're going to draw another student's monster using the information that they posted below. So you would have to find another student's post. You should not be doing a student that someone else has already done. So if you scroll below and you notice there's 4 students and 2 of them already have someone who has drawn a monster and posted below, you don't want to use those ones. You're going to find a student's post who has not been done yet. So that's going to be your goal. And what you're going to do is read their directions and ultimately draw their monster using their directions. Make sure to take your time, follow each step carefully, and similar to the previous drawing that you did, you're going to need to handwrite your name on the bottom of the paper in order to get points for this part of the assignment. So make sure you have your handwritten name on your drawing. What else? Other things you will need to include would be to write a brief and respectful critique on the procedure you used. Was it easy? Was it hard? What things were missing? What things could have been included? Was it good? Did it make drawing the monster easy, and why? So write a brief critique, whether you want to write it on your drawing or you can do a separate Word document. Both of those would be fine in order to type this. And then the last part for part 2 is to answer the questions in number 3. And again, you can handwrite that on the drawing, or you can type that in a Word document with your critique. It's entirely up to you. And there are 3 questions that I want you to answer, and these are located right here. And make sure you take your time and explain yourself when you are answering those questions. So again, part 1 includes you writing a procedure for your own monster and submitting that below. Part 2 has you drawing a monster using someone else's procedure, writing a critique, and then answering those 3 questions. When you're done with part 2, you will post your information or your work as a reply to their post below. So let's say I'm a different student and I'm working on this post here, and there was a procedure I copied. I would click this reply button, and it would allow me to type my submission if I wanted to type my critique and answers to the questions, or if I had files to attach, I could do my browse my computer option here. And then once I am ready, I would hit submit, and that would submit my reply to whichever student's post that I did. So again, 2 parts to the assignment. If you need a little help with some of the vocabulary, there is some pieces here that you can read. But again, make sure you do both parts of this assignment. And I'm looking for specific in-depth answers. I'm looking for specific in-depth procedures and steps and time put into monsters. If you have a question on how to do this, make sure that you email me. Otherwise, good luck, and then let me know if you need help.